guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I filmed this very glowy, hydrated, luminous look for you guys. I have dry skin and I showed you guys all of the products that I used for this look. So this is basically like a updated foundation routine because this is how I've been doing my face for work, to go out on an everyday basis with just like obviously a toned down eye. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I do post about once or twice a week. If you guys have any suggestions for upcoming videos, please let me know. So if you guys have dry skin and you guys want to see how to accomplish this very glowy and hydrated look, then just keep on watching. Okay guys, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is skincare. So the first thing I'm using is the MAC Charged Water. I'm just going to drench my entire face with this, just give my skin pure hydration. And if you have eyeshadow on when you're spraying this, or Fix Plus, I would suggest just to keep your eyes closed for a little bit and then like fan it until it dries. That way you won't crease. So for my moisturizer, I'm going to be taking the LUSH Skin Drink, and it's just super moisturizing, safe for dermatitis and eczema type skin, which is what I have. So yeah, obviously this is going to be directed towards people that have drier skin. I really want to try and hook up my camera to my computer somehow so that my viewfinder is my computer, but don't know how to do that. If you guys know how to hook up a Canon T5i to a Mac computer, desktop computer, then please let me know in the comments. I would greatly appreciate that. So for my under eye cream, I have been using the Vibrancy Eye Lightful C from MAC, and I love it. It has a peachier tone and it has a little reflex in it so that when you put your concealer on top of it, kind of bounces the light away, so it looks a little brighter under the eye. And obviously if you don't know, you should apply your under eye cream with your ring fingers because it has the lightest weight from all your others. So for primer, I'm going to be taking the MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance, and it's the yellow based one. The lid is gone. I use this every single day, so. And it's super hydrating and really glowy, but it also does have oil absorbing factors to it too, so if you do get like oily in the T-zone, then it is still going to combat that. And I like to like pat in the primer, because I feel like if I mix it in too much with my moisturizers, I feel like it doesn't really act like a primer. It just kind of all mixes in together. This way I feel like it just lays on top a little nicer. So now that we are all primed and hydrated, I am going to first color correct like I normally do. So for that, I'm going to be taking the Sephora color corrector, the Sephora Bright Future Color Correct in medium. So I'm going to be putting that under my eyes and around my mouth, like I usually do. If you watch my videos, you know this is a routine. And if you have no idea what I'm doing, then that means you have nothing to color correct and you're lucky, so f*** you. So I'm obviously going to be applying like powder highlighter afterwards, like after all my powders and everything, but to make sure that my face is super, super glowy and radiant, I am going to be using the Sephora Illuminating Drops. So I'm going to be putting this on the higher points of my cheeks, a little bit on the forehead, a little tiny bit on the chin, and the littlest bit on my nose. I don't like to put too much on my nose just in case because it might separate. And so I'm actually just going to be taking a brush to blend this out because I don't want it to get on my beauty blender before I'm using my foundation. And you can see already just by applying that, it just adds beautiful radiance to my face. Might have put a little bit too much on, but the point of this video is to be glowy AF. So I'm actually just going to take the extra of that and apply it on my chest here. So I'm actually going to add a bit more to my chest. Please don't mind the scratch right there. I had to sleep with my dog a couple nights ago because my parents were gone, and she got a little excited and pawed at me, but that's okay, you know, I love Callie to death anyway. Now that I'm glowed up to the max, let's go in with some foundation. so for foundation, I'm going to be using my YSL foundation. I've used this in the past like 2 or 3 videos, and I'm sorry if it gets annoying, but honestly, I'm obsessed with it. It's super glowy and radiant, and it's a perfect match for my skin, so obviously I'm going to be using this. I was going to add a strobe cream to my foundation, but since I'm using this one, it is already so glowy, and I'm already using that base from Sephora, so I think that I'll just look too greasy if I do that, so we're just gonna skip that step. If you guys haven't seen my first impression on the YSL foundation, I will link that somewhere here. So what I'm going to be doing next is cream contour and bronzing. So I feel like this really makes my face look extra glowy and extra dewy. Instead of using like matte bronzers and matte contour colors, just having that extra kind of like sheer look on the cheek really adds to the whole like glowy, luminous look. So we're going to be taking the MAC Quick Trick Stick in Bare End and Earth Nut. So I'm going to be applying this where I would normally bronze. Just going in with some here. A little bit on the sides of my nose because I'm not going to be contouring with this exactly, just kind of bronzing. And blending this out again with my IT Cosmetics brush. And this is the Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection in number 7. It's the Foundation and Conceal Duo brush. And this stuff just blends out so flawlessly. Like, I don't have to put any effort into it. So on days that I'm kind of rushing, or I really want like a radiant natural look, then the Quick Trick Sticks are a really good way to go. They have some like blush tones too, which are really beautiful. Okay, so before I contour and highlight and set on my face and everything, I'm going to be going in with some concealer. The concealer I have been using lately and I've been loving is the MAC Select Moisture Concealer, and this is an NC20. I just really like it because I have really dry skin, so that extra moisture, anything with extra moisture, my skin loves. So I'm just going to be doing the typical under eye V down the nose a little bit, on the forehead, a little tiny bit on the chin. For contour, I'm going to be using the Smashbox Step by Step Contour Stick in Contour, in the color Contour. So I'm just taking a little bit and just putting that right below where I just applied that bronzer. Tiny, tiny bit on the forehead, and then just a little bit down the bridge of the nose here. And I'm actually going to use that exact same brush again, just because it has a little bit of that bronzer left on it, so it'll automatically kind of just blend the two together. And this product does blend really, really well again. Especially with the Quick Trick Stick, these two together. Can't go wrong. And obviously, like if you wanted to, you can skip the whole contour step to this glowy look, but honestly, I feel like when you have contour, it really emphasizes that you have a highlight above it. So if you're trying to make your highlight pop like extra, honestly, just contour just a tiny, tiny bit. So for the nose, to blend out the nose, I'm just going to flip the brush over and use the bottom side and blend that out. And I'm not going to be taking that all the way down just because my nose is quite small already, so I don't want to make it look too small. Sometimes I do that, and my sister thinks I look like Michael Jackson, so and not in a good way. Okay, before we go ahead and set this whole foundation, I'm going to be taking the highlighter end of the Quick Trick Stick and gonna apply a little bit of this to the higher points of my face, just right here. Just be careful, don't put too much. And then I'm actually gonna take my beauty blender and just quickly blend that out. Okay, so since I want to look really, really hydrated and glowy, I am not going to bake today, but I'm going to be using the same powder that I normally would bake with and just dust it under my eyes where my creases would be and kind of leave this section a little bit more radiant. So I'm just going to briefly buff a little bit of powder all under the eye. So for this, I'm taking my MAC Mineralized Loose Foundation in Extra Light. I'm taking just a tiny, tiny bit of this on my brush. Very lightly tapping that under the eye. If you guys have problems with like creasing under the eyes or just really looking dry and you're trying like the Laura Mercier and it's not working for you, or like any of those kind of like translucent powders are not working for you, give this a try. It's a Mineralized Loose Foundation from MAC. I swear to God, it's moisturizing like as it's going on. It doesn't make you feel like tight and you need to like coat yourself with sprays and stuff. It goes on moisturizing. It's probably from the minerals and stuff, but I love it. So I'm just taking some here on my smile line, and then I'm just going to put a tiny, tiny bit right under where we contoured. Okay, so before that really sets in, I'm going to buff that away quickly, and I'm going to be using the MAC Studio Fix powder to set the rest of my face, which is basically just from here down. And this is actually a really mattifying powder, so when I do these kind of looks and make my face look really, really shiny, I tend to kind of leave here down a little bit more matte so it looks a little bit more natural and I don't look like I'm actually a grease ball. Okay, so for blush, I'm going to be taking the MAC Mineralized Blush in Warm Soul. Everyone knows what this blush is. It's just, it's like goddess, like it's just so pretty. It's very, very sheer and it just makes you look like you have a very natural, subtle like blush tone in the cheek, kind of like you're embarrassed, but it does have a glow to it, so that is why I wanted to use it, because it doesn't have like a glitter or a sparkle. It's just strictly just like a shine, so it's very, very beautiful and youthful looking. So very quickly, I'm just going to go in with my Marc Jacobs contour and highlight palette in 40 Mirage filter, so it's just this guy here. I'm going to be taking a little bit of the contour side and just putting it right where I cream contoured, just so it really stands out, just in case any of the powder that we put on kind of masked it. And I'm just taking a little bit on the little side of that brush and just dragging it down my nose. Tiny, tiny bit on either side, so that when we have that highlight on the nose, it looks all put together nicely. I'm just going to take a little bit right here too. So I am going to be taking not one, not two, but 3 highlighters. And there's a purpose behind it, I promise you. I'm going to be using Lightscapade first, and it's that very, very light color. If you use too much of this, can look crazy, just a warning. But for the most part, it's super, super, super beautiful. And I'm kind of going over the bronze area too, so the bronzer looks luminous. So I'm just putting this on my brow bone and my inner corner. Okay, so before I move on to the other 2 colors for highlighter, I'm going to spray my face once again with my charged water. So this highlighter is Beaming Blush, so I'm just going to apply this right below that Lightscapade color and kind of in between my bronzer and that Lightscapade highlighter.
What's your highlight?
It's like 4, maybe 5.
So now I'm going to go in with Double Gleam. This is my favorite highlighter out of all 3 of them. If I had to choose one to apply all over the area, it would be this one. And I'm sure that you can kind of see for yourself why that is. And And also by having these highlighters underneath, when you're applying this one, you don't really have to worry about it being kind of like a stark line because all underneath is going to be pretty glowy as well. Going to apply a tiny bit of this on top of that gold highlighter that I put on my nose and just the tip of my lip. I think that is everything I do. Now I'm going to apply a lip and just smoke out my lower lash line, and I will come right back and show you guys the final look. Okay guys, so I am back and I finished my face off. I am in love with how glowy I am. I'm crazy. Like, these lights I feel like kind of don't even show how glowy I actually am. That is it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys. Have a beautiful day.